love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi Charter Schools, Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I am Matt Watson, your host. It is good to have you. I'm wearing a new mask this morning, and it's pulling my ears forward, which is fine, except for these headphones. So,
looks good on you, Matt. I like it.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks. You know, oftentimes people will ask, "Hey, you fool, what are you doing sitting in that station all by yourself wearing a mask?" Well, obviously, Shane's sitting right across from me. Good morning, Shane. Hope you had a good weekend.
Absolutely. Plenty of stuff done.
All right, fantastic. You are an industrious young man. So that's why we're wearing face masks. We're sitting about 7-8 feet from each other and following CDC guidelines. I found some interesting news over the weekend. Real interesting, as a matter of fact. We're going to share that with you a little bit later on this hour. This special edition of Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers is brought to you by KHTS in collaboration with SCVi and iLEAD Charter Schools. We come to you live each Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., providing support and updates for you and your family as we work through distance learning, although many of us are now stepping into the summer. In fact, we'll be talking in just a minute with someone who's about to begin her summer. But as we do so, you're going to continue to want to make sure that you stay sharp, avoid that summer slump with your kids. And in order to help you, I want to keep our website, Homeschooling Answers, in the forefront of your mind. You know, we've got some things that don't feel quite so schooly. You know, it doesn't feel like that packet of work that your kids have been getting for a long time. These things are highly engaging activities for your kids to work on, keep their skills sharp. Head on over to homeschoolinganswers.com. You can check them out by grade level, by subject area, things like that. So great way for your kids to stay sharp as we figure out what school's going to look like next year. You know, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking with Cheryl Sena in just a minute, as I mentioned before. Cheryl is the senior advisor at SCVi. And against all odds, SCVi celebrated another beautifully touching graduation ceremony last Friday. For those of you who have attended an SCVi graduation, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't, we're going to have a link for you to see how it was handled this year. SCVi's graduations are always, they're like that incredible rom-com that make you laugh, make you cry every year, and this year was no exception. We're going to be asking Cheryl how they were able to pull that off this year in the midst of a pandemic and all the other stuff going on in and around town. We'll also be checking in with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray. She's joining us a little bit early today. We have her in her new time slot. She used to be the one that wrapped up our show every day, but she's going to be coming on a little bit later in the first hour, and I believe that will be her new time slot moving forward. We're also going to be speaking with Renard Thomas from COC. Renard is the director of the Veterans Resource Center out there, so we're going to be talking to Renard about what he's doing to help veterans get a leg up and a strong education and the other support that they need. And just one more thing before we get started. To those of you graduating from Golden Valley High School right now, congratulations, graduates. Congratulations, and as I said to your colleagues that graduated last week, I am and we are so sorry. It is not fair. It is not the way that you're supposed to be graduating, but nonetheless, you are graduating. It's a huge accomplishment, and we congratulate you. Great job. We're very proud of you. Now go and make this world a better place. We definitely need you out there. We need your leadership. We need your guidance. We need the grit that you guys have demonstrated all year long. Bless you all, and a happy graduation. Now, let's get to our first guest, Cheryl Sena. Cheryl hails from Boston, Massachusetts. She is a founding facilitator. That's what we call our educators out at SCVi. Cheryl's a founding facilitator at SCVi who's played an instrumental role in building and maintaining that powerful culture for which we're known. Cheryl's taught every grade from 6th through 12th grade and is currently facilitating 12th grade English internships and is the senior class advisor. Known for her great compassion for others and her passion for learning, Cheryl's always looking and working to make this world a better place, both in the classroom and in the community. What little downtime she does have, she spends either reading or writing, as she's currently working on 2 different novels. Cheryl met her husband Peter while they were both attending Hofstra University. She would go on to not only marry Peter, but earn her bachelor's and master's degree before they moved to California. Their eldest daughter, Gabby, is currently attending NYU, living in the heart of New York City, and their youngest, Bella, just completed her junior year at SCVi, having been there since first grade. Cheryl, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Matt.
It's good to have you back, and I want to congratulate you because I know that graduation at SCVi is something that you are to be congratulated on as well. I know a tremendous amount of work goes into it, and you're currently probably experiencing the exhale that you always experience this time of year.
Yes, I spent the whole weekend in my pajamas.
That is terrific. So, Cheryl, I mentioned in your intro that you're the senior advisor at SCVi. As such, you are responsible for graduation, and you came on the show a couple of weeks ago and shared a little bit about what the plans for SCVi's graduation was. Well, it was last Friday. How did it go?
I thought it went splendid. In the morning, I was a bit nervous. I have to tell you, I couldn't eat breakfast. I got to campus at 9. Our drive-thru was scheduled for 2 p.m., but I had those little last-minute details to do with a few staff members. And the drive-thru, we had the drive-thru at 2 p.m. It started at 2:04 exactly, and within 50 minutes, we had 55 graduates drive through and receive their diplomas.
Wow, 50 minutes, 50.
Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic. So you had a drive up. They received their diplomas. That sounds very similar to what's going on right now at Central Park. It's not ideal, but it is a great compromise. And you guys were able to make sure that your graduates were able to drive through. It was there at campus at SCVi, correct?
Yes, they drove through the back of the campus where we have our flag, our alumni honor flag court, and we had staff on site all along where the cars were lined up. We had a few other fun stations. We had our cafe asked if they could participate. They love our seniors. They love all our learners. And so they created little packets of homemade cookies for them.
Mm.
And then we had our Spanish teacher, facilitator, Mrs. Cedeno, and she threw hugs and kisses at them. She purchased little fuzzy hearts. And so she gave each one of the graduates a hug and kiss virtually, of course.
For those of our listeners that don't know, Mrs. Cedeno is world-renowned as a championship hugger. She's just, she gives the best hugs in the world. She's this teeny tiny thing that is known for the love that she delivers in her instruction, but also with a great big hug. That is really cool. So how were you able to make sure that you kept everyone safe as they were driving through? Because I know at some point, just like a lot of the other drive-through graduations that we're seeing, the learners are getting out of their car, they're receiving their diploma, they're taking pictures, things like that. How were you able to keep everyone safe?
Each graduate was handed a safety kit with a mask and some alcohol wipes after, or white antibacterial wipes after, so they could use it after they were done. The staff wore gloves when they handed them the diplomas. Actually, we didn't hand the diplomas directly to the graduates. We put them on a table.
Oh, I was hoping you were like flinging them in the car window.
No. No, we placed them on a table. They walked up to we announced their name as they were getting out of the car. They had a piece of paper with their name on it. They handed that to a runner. A runner gave it to me. I showed it to a group that were pulling the diplomas from an alphabetized pile, and it was placed on the table. We announced their name, and then they proceeded to a step and repeat, those beautiful backgrounds with everybody's logos on them.
Yeah.
With festive balloons, and a photographer took their photo.
Very cool. So you guys actually gave out diplomas, because I know most of the area high schools are handing out the diploma covers, and then the diplomas are going to be mailed later. You guys were able to give your kids their actual diplomas. Did you have to have the cars lined up in alphabetical order? Because that can be a nightmare.
No, that's why we do the name cards for them.
Okay.
We do the name cards for them, so they handed the name card. Actually, that was a little trick I got back in my days. I've been doing graduation since I was in college.
Oh, wow.
I worked for the facilities manager at Hofstra University, and he ran the graduation ceremonies, and so I helped him organize that when I was a graduate assistant.
So that's why we keep you around. I was wondering that. Fantastic. Oh, I'm kidding, Cheryl. I know how much you add to the campus every day, not just that one day at SCVi.
Yeah, so at Hofstra, they announced every name, and so you wrote your name on a card, and you got to stand with your friends, which was very nice, because in a college campus that's huge, you want to be with your friends when you graduate. And you just hand the card, and they read it off.
You know, you're absolutely right. I remember I graduated from CSUN years ago, and I sat around about 500 people that I'd never met before. So, wow. So that's fantastic. So you guys would call the names, and then somebody would be responsible for rifling through that alphabetized stack of diplomas, and the kids were able to get their actual diplomas.
Yes.
Now, later on that evening, you guys had a virtual graduation. Again, very similar to, or maybe not too similar, but like a lot of the other schools in the area, you guys had your virtual actual graduation ceremony online. Can you tell me a little bit about that ceremony?
Yes. We wanted to make it as live as possible, meaning we didn't want just recorded segments.
Sure.
I don't know if I know you know, but I don't know if your listeners know, that we had a few individuals that were finalists in the Get Lit Slam. And when I was watching the Get Lit Slam, I noticed how well they produced that championship. It was interactive, it was live, and it really was exciting. So I reached out to them. I knew we were going to have to do something like this. I reached out to them and asked them for some suggestions, and they suggested I speak to Mason Granger, who is from Virtual Stage Crew. After speaking with him, I knew there was no way possible I could repeat that myself. So we collaborated with Mason and Virtual Stage Crew to produce 3 events for our graduate week. So we did the senior, the college sign-in day, higher education signing day, and we did our clap out and senior breakfast and the graduation. And in hindsight, it was so good that we did the first 2 events because we got all the little out prior, and we learned how to work together. So by the time we had graduation, it was smooth sailing.
Perfect. That is beautiful. I love the idea that if you can't beat them, hire them. So some of our listeners will remember several weeks ago we had your colleague Jody Blinn on talking about the Get Lit Poetry Slam, and it's a live poetry slam competition that's conducted downtown every year. Obviously, with everybody getting zapped by the COVID this year, they had to go virtual, and they did an amazing job putting together a virtual poetry slam that was broadcast nationally. And so, yeah, you worked with the same guy that organized that event for them, and worked on several different events. I want to talk about those events in just a second, but let's talk a little bit more about the virtual graduation. Now, you had 3 graduates who are actually founding learners at SCVi, and if you're new to the program, SCVi is the only comprehensive public school in Santa Clarita, meaning you can attend from kindergarten through 12th grade. Can you tell us about those 3 graduates, Cheryl?
Yes, we had Megan Ibarra, Nikias Savisco Lampiesta, and Connor Raskin. They've been attending SCVi since our founding year, which was 2008 to 2009, since the first grade. So they've been in the same school since the first grade. And that's a huge thing when you think of, like, we're building the airplane from as we were flying. So to have 3 individuals who stayed with us and have thrived is an awesome thing.
My son attended 5 different schools in 6 years. So yeah, I know how big of a deal it is to have your kids stay in the same school for that long a time. That is really cool. And then next year we're going to have our last founding class graduate. We're going to have our first kindergartners going to be graduating next year.
Yes.
That is so exciting. Now, did you have any of the kids, were they able to speak at all, or was this a view only type thing?
We had our speakers. The goal was to do as much the same as we could, so that they would have that milestone that they've all longed for. Of course, it wasn't in person, but we wanted to provide them with that special feeling that our graduations have. We had 4 speakers. We had one that was recorded. She was in our priest show, and that was Ruby Hollenbach. And the title of her speech was Lessons Learned. So prior to this, in March, they have to submit, early March, they submit a speech. And any SCVi graduate can speak at our graduation. They submit a speech, they audition, and the speakers are chosen from that audition process. We had to do all of that through Zoom, which is fun, too. Every year, and we even make the president of our class, our advisory council president, she also submits a speech and has to audition. So President Kathy Grossman spoke, and she is our official MC. She runs the show during graduation. Then Connor Raskin gave the founder's speech. So out of the three founders, Connor Raskin gave the founder's speech. Mm-hmm. And Kiara Gallegos, We Are the Future, wrapped it all up at the end after the roll call. So we do a final roll call, and that's, the typical, you walk across the stage and get your diploma. But we had already done the receipt of diploma earlier.
Okay, yeah, that's right. You had already done the receipt of diploma, but they were able to move their tassel, and did they throw their caps?
We asked them to throw their caps in virtually in there, and we had our director of our upper school, Dr. Katya.
Would you let me? I love saying her name.
Oh, thank you. And I just practiced it 5 times. Thank you.
Her name is Dr. Katya Ariarambuono.
Yes.
Oh.
You really wrote it phonetically.
Yes, we like to call her Kat. Kat joined SCVi this year, and she has been a fantastic addition to the leadership out there at SCVi. Now, Cheryl, you mentioned that it was digital, and I know it's still posted live. I'm working with producer Sarah, and she's trying to get it posted on our Facebook Live feed. I'm wondering if maybe folks can just go to the SCVi Charter Schools link on Facebook and go back to Friday's archives. I bet it would probably be there. But producer Sarah is going to continue to work on posting that. Tell us really quickly about those other senior events that you guys hosted, because I know it was tough for you guys to go off campus during a time when the seniors are supposed to be coming together, not going apart. Can you just take maybe a minute or so to share really quickly some of the senior events that you guys hosted?
And I also want to share that it's really important when you work at SCVi. One of the things that's really awesome is that we all honor each other's strengths. And I know, although I have a broadcast journalism major, that I'm not the greatest when it comes to emceeing, especially if I'm in charge of the event. So I just want to commend Kevin Becker. He was our other MC that evening. He helped out a lot in every event announcing, and he has that wonderful voice.
He actually did do a terrific job. As a matter of fact, as I was watching, I texted him to let him know what a great job he was doing.
It was awesome to have him. So, and we did we knew how disappointed the seniors were, so we pulled them in and asked them what were some of the things they wanted to keep and what was most important to them. Okay. And Grad Week was very important, so we did a virtual retreat the week before just to set the tone and get everyone knowing that this was a big milestone. We announced all those who have made higher education choices anywhere from trade schools to going to military schools, community college, and 4-year colleges. So we did that on Monday. Tuesday we did caps. We decorated caps together. That was fun. That was really one of the first times I saw every senior put their camera on, and we were laughing and joking around. It was really good for us to do that. Wednesday we had a senior sunset. Prior to the sunset, we asked the families to write their seniors' letters and asked for friends and family to write their seniors' letters about this milestone, and they read those privately. And then right before the sunset, the seniors opened a letter they wrote themselves at our sunrise in August. On Thursday, we had our senior breakfast, which was challenging, but seniors they went and picked up their breakfast at our cafe, or they made their seniors breakfast, and we sat down and we honored those who had won awards or gotten cords for IB and ambassadors and participating. And then we spend about a good 40 minutes in testimonials where they talk about what it was like to go to our school. And then exactly at 11:40, we rolled a video. Usually we have our seniors walk through a line of learners from 11th grade all the way down to transitional kindergarten, and they're on either side, and the seniors have their caps and gowns on, and everyone claps them out. And that's their last day of school, and the last thing they have to do as seniors. It's really poignant, and it's really heartwarming, and it makes me cry every year. And that was the hardest thing for me as a senior advisor, was that we were going to have to let that go. But we came up with an idea that we had every class Zoom a clap out, and so we put that together in a film for them.
That is really cool. Now, Cheryl, I love that you guys took this idea that, okay, we're on pandemic, we're safer at home, and so we can't do traditional graduation. We can't do graduation like we've always done it. But you guys came back and said, okay, we can't do graduation like we've always done it, but that doesn't mean we can't host and honor our seniors in an amazingly touching way, the way we always do. Mm-hmm. Now, we're a 7 Habits school. Here on the show, we went through the 7 habits, and we wrapped it up with habit number 8, find your voice and help others find theirs. Cheryl, you gave everyone in that graduating class, as well as the staff and the parents, you gave them a voice last week, and we're so grateful for that. But now it's your turn. Ms. Sena, I want you to talk to us about the class of 2020. They've been through so much this year, but your journey with them began, I think, 6 years ago when they were in 6th grade, right?
I did not have this class. This is my first year having it.
Oh, okay. But you got them as they came in as freshmen, and you've walked with them through high school. So, Cheryl, what does the class of 2020 mean to you?
Well, I think what means it's a class. We've worked really hard this year in building a relationship. And I think the thing that touches me most about this class is the grit they have. Yeah. There's been a lot of stumbling this year. There's been a lot of roadblocks. And it's been really challenging for them as well as their facilitators. And to come out on this side and have the graduation we did and have those moments that we had, such as when we were all together decorating the caps or during the virtual retreat, those moments are going to be lasting moments that the staff will definitely not forget. We've grown a lot through this process, and I'm hoping that they won't forget either.
Yeah, you mentioned the word grit, and that's something that oftentimes us and the older generation will criticize our younger generations for not having. And boy, if they didn't have it before, they're certainly taking it away with them from graduation, aren't they?
Yes, and I was going to say this. I think that we focus so much, like I see a lot of people focus on trying to make it better for this class. And what we're missing is the opportunity that when there is disappointment or when there are roadblocks, there's an opportunity for one to rise to the occasion and become more and learn how to deal with those disappointments in life and rise from them like a phoenix. And I think that that's the part that it's an opportunity for this class. I get it. It's devastating that this has happened, but I believe that these individuals are going to be so much more stronger than those who have walked a different path.
You got it, folks. We've got English teachers on here that say more stronger. Cheryl Sena, I want to thank you for coming on today. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to the graduating class of SCVi 2020. Way to go, Stallions. You guys made it. Congratulations. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we're going to be back with some important things going on in the news. We want to make sure that you guys know that we are monitoring the equestrian fire in Castaic. It's about 30% contained right now. KHTS does have staff on the scene, and they're monitoring it for you. We will have breaking news as it comes in. We're also going to be talking about some things that we need to be keeping our eye on. Again, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools, Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Moms, dads, this is Carden Ellis, owner of Unipest. If your house has ants, spiders, or gophers, or you want a free orange oil termite inspection, you have to call Unipest Termite and Pest Control, Santa Clarita's only factory-certified orange oil pest control company. We specialize in organic, low-impact, and traditional pest control options that are all kid-friendly, pet-friendly, and affordable with no contracts, and we're SCV owned and operated. Call us at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
This is Bradley Gross from Santa Clarita Grocery. Santa Clarita Grocery serves fresh groceries to families, individuals, and those experiencing homelessness. At Santa Clarita Grocery, out of every dollar donated, a full 99 cents goes directly to the needs being addressed. As an all-volunteer-led organization, we operate on a 1% overhead, receiving no government funding for our operations in the community, resulting in us being one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. If you're looking to support the good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery. What is donated is specifically kept in the Santa Clarita Valley, helping over 3,000 families, including 5 other community charities. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or visit us on social media or call us at 425-7575. That's 425-7575.
With many auto dealers currently closed, Reeves Complete Auto Center is open to handle service and repairs for your vehicle. With a 2-year, 24,000-mile parts and labor warranty, Dave Reeves and his team have been exceeding their customers' expectations for decades. Reeves Complete Auto Center is here for you while your dealer is closed. On Soledad and Ruther, ReevesService.com. Reeves Complete Auto Center, caring about Santa Clarita and you.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi Charter Schools' Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers with Matt Watson. As I mentioned before the break, we are monitoring the equestrian fire in Castaic. Shane, have you got any updates on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have KHTS reporter Michael Brown on the scene. He's been covering it since, I want to say, about 3:30, 4 a.m. this morning. Bless his soul. Stay strong, Mike. But to get to that information, last update was 7:30 a.m. from him, and the fire is now 75 acres in size, but it remains at 30% containment. So no updates since then, and we'll continue to provide them as we get them.
Yeah, I know this wind is not helping at all. All righty. Well, I mentioned before the break, we've got some things in the news that that we want to talk about. Some things that that you guys have been you guys have all been following over the last week or so, and also something that I don't know that many people are following, and I just want to help us keep our eye on the ball. You guys have all seen the news. We've had demonstrations going on, people demonstrating, protesting the tragic killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Demonstrations have gone on for over a week now. So thankful that here in Santa Clarita, so proud of our community. The demonstrations, like I said, have gone on for over a week. They have been completely peaceful, and to that point, they've been completely purposeful. And it looks like we're really moving the dial on this, as we are around the country. You know, this time last week, we were talking about looting and rioting going on in the evening hours, but it seems like in just about all cities, that stuff has subsided as the those with purpose in their heart have stepped forward and said, no, this is not something we're going to allow to be diluted by violence. This is something we're taking back, and we're going to make sure that we've got meaningful change here in the United States. And to that point, since the demonstrations have started, the Minneapolis district attorney has responded by now charging officially all 4 of the officers that were involved in the death of George Floyd. However, demonstrations have continued across the country, and some people have questioned, look, you got what you wanted. All 4 of the police officers involved in the incident have now been arrested and charged, but the demonstrations continue because this goes beyond the killing of one man in one city. Demonstrators are pushing for meaningful, systemic change nationwide, and leaders across the country, well, they're hearing them. As a matter of fact, conversations are starting to take place. It's my understanding that our own Mayor Smythe is working to schedule a conversation with the organizers from the Black Lives Matter protests, and we're going to be asking him about that when he joins us on the show tomorrow. I also want to remind you that these aren't the only demonstrations that we've had recently. If you recall, about 2.5 weeks ago, there were some demonstrating to move to reopen our economy, to move that forward at a quicker pace. It seems like, at least it felt here in Santa Clarita, like we had kind of stalled on the progress toward moving through and beyond the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, and it was time to get our economy back open. And again, our city officials heard those demonstrators as well as the voices of so many others, and they acted. They prompted Governor Gavin Newsom to move us into Phase 3. And we've actually heard news over the weekend that Phase 3 is going to continue to roll out. 2 weeks ago today, Governor Newsom announced that churches and houses of worship were allowed to reopen under specific conditions. So I know that there were some congregants in and around Santa Clarita this last weekend that were able to enjoy their church services a little bit closer to what normal used to look like. Again, there's still some restrictions, especially on those larger congregations. Just over a week ago, we reopened barbershops, hair salons, flea markets, swap meets, and drive-in movie theaters. And I know if you're watching on Facebook Live, you're noticing I still haven't been to my barber. No, it was 2 months, and those 2 months got me back to my late 1980s self. I haven't had a wave like this since I graduated from high school, and it was tough. It was an emotional experience to get rid of the wave after high school graduation, and it's tough to part with again. But I feel like a visit to the barbershop is in my near future. Now, we were supposed to, along with barbershops and hair salons, we were supposed to be able to reopen our dining rooms, but before restaurants were able to respond to that, those dining room reopenings were delayed by the days of county-imposed curfew due to the violence downtown and in other places. But many local restaurants were open this weekend. As a matter of fact, I was able to head out and have some poke with a couple of family members. It was nice to sit in a dining room. We all commented on how surreal it was and how odd it was to have a dinner in a restaurant here in Santa Clarita. But so they're starting to get reopened, and now as early as this Friday, the state is expecting to issue guidelines under which bars, gyms, schools, day camps, and some sports are able to reopen. And as an education-based show, we're going to be watching that really closely. We're looking for the guidelines on how schools are going to reopen. And again, all of these new openings are going to have guidelines and restrictions that need to be followed, intended to ensure that we reopen safely. Still no word on those all-important nail salons and spa services that we're all looking forward to, and tattoo parlors as well, but I'm sure that's coming soon. But here's something really important that it concerns me a bit. Many have expressed concerns over the possibility of a spike in coronavirus infections as a result of these things, whether it's the protests in mid-May, the reopenings in the end of May with people coming back together. Folks came out to celebrate Mother's Day and Memorial Day like we hadn't seen in weeks prior. Then we had the further protests last week all over the country, and a lot of folks have expressed concern about the possibility of a spike. Well, yesterday, ABC News reported what could be the beginning of what some of us fear. As of May 31st, for the longest time, for about 2 months, the portion of Angelinos, those folks in Los Angeles and LA County, which includes us, the portion of the folks in Los Angeles County testing positive for the virus was hovering at around 4%. So testing a lot of people, and about 4% of the people were testing positive. But the portion of positive tests began to climb on June 1st, up to about 6% by June 2nd. And then it jumped again to 8.7% on June 3rd, and it's stayed about that 8%. So double the amount or the percentage of people being tested were coming up positive. And yes, experts do agree that there's a 2-week lag to see the true impact of social movement and infection rates, but we need to keep an eye on this, folks. And I know some of you are going to say, Matt, we're testing a lot more people. That's why the number of infections is going up. But remember, this is percentages. As we test more people, you would expect that the percentage of positive tests would go down because we're testing people that maybe weren't as critical as we were testing back in May and April. And so this spike in percentages has me a bit concerned. Let's keep an eye on that. I want you guys to stay safe. You know, we could end up regretting a lot of these things that have been taking place over the last couple of weeks. You know, Israel reopened their schools in small measure back in early May, and then they fully reopened 2 weeks ago. But now schools in Israel are starting to close right and left as cases among school children. Yeah, school children are skyrocketing, absolutely skyrocketing. They're seeing similar spikes in South Korea and Singapore as their schools reopen. So let's keep our eye on this, Santa Clarita. We need to keep our community safe. We need to move thoughtfully using research and wisdom to guide us, okay? So stay safe. Do what you need to do to protect your family. We're going to take a quick commercial break, do what we need to do to pay the bills around here. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Christina DeBray. She's been helping guide us through this tough time from the very beginning. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools' Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, this is Bob Schertz with the Way Out Recovery SCV, reminding you that during these unprecedented times, addiction and mental health do not take a break. If you or someone you love are struggling, please give us a call at 661-296-4444. We are open and here to help you during this time. Thanks.
It's allergy season again. You've tried it all, yet your sinuses continue to be a problem. Try something different, something holistic, something that will really work. Acupuncture. Kathleen Keneally is Santa Clarita's acupuncture and NATE specialist. She's been treating many of your neighbors and their children for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and pain. Find out how acupuncture can improve the quality of your life. Call Kathleen Keneally for a free phone consultation. 252-4100. 252-4100. Acupuncture. It really works.
Hi. I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283.
At iLEAD Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLEAD Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLeadAguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLEAD Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
CBC Cleaning and Restoration is ready and waiting to clean and disinfect your home or business during these trying times. CBC is certified, OSHA trained, and insured for COVID-19. They are now offering 10% off services plus free disinfection application through June 30th. All staff wears full-on PPE and all equipment is disinfected before and after every job. Have CBC clean your carpets, upholstery, and hard surface flooring. Voted best commercial and residential cleaning company in the Santa Clarita Valley year after year. To take advantage of the COVID-19 special or more information, call CBC at 294-2221. That's 294-2221.
Power Automotive is open for you during these challenging times. They've taken extra precautions to keep their employees and their customers safe. What makes Power Automotive different? They offer a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on each and every one of their repair services. All makes and models, autos, trucks, diesels, even RVs. Mention KHTS, you get 20% off parts. On Soledad, between Whites Canyon and Sierra Highway, right behind Denny's. Power Automotive is going to show you why they've been voted Santa Clarita's #1 repair shop for the last 18 years.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. For those of you in Castaic watching the equestrian fire, we are monitoring it. As Shane said last break, Michael is out on the scene and keeping an eye on things for you. We are about 30% containment. So stay tuned to KHTS's Facebook feed and all of our social media. Go ahead.
And just to add on that, 30% containment at 75 acres. That last update came around 7:30 this morning. We're still waiting for another one, but like Matt said, we've got Michael Brown on the scene out there, so stay tuned to our Facebook page, KHTS Radio. We've got an article that we're updating on hometownstation.com, and of course, right here, 98.1 FM, AM 1220.
Yeah, praying that wind dies down. I'm looking at my phone right now, and it looks like wind is forecasted to go through the afternoon. So hopefully firefighters can get a wrap on that here real soon and tighten that up. We certainly don't need any more trauma in our lives. And speaking of which, we are joined now by Christina Debray, a licensed marriage and family therapist, with a remarkable story of trauma and resilience and struggle faced by grit and determination. Christina faced everything that the rest of us are facing now and more early on in life with quarantine and lockdown and all the different things that come along with a cystic fibrosis diagnosis. And she took that and took those metaphorical lemons and turned them into so much more than lemonade as she became a trauma and resilience specialist studying at Cal State Northridge and then later Pepperdine University. She's now got a practice right here in Valencia. She sees patients. She's now actually seeing them in person as well as virtually. And she continues to work with her patients through trauma, phobias, performance enhancement, suicide prevention, grief, dealing with child and adolescent interventions, all different kinds of things. She's got more than 18 years experience with public speaking, working with medical professionals and different organizations, patients, schools, business professionals. Good morning, Christina. Welcome back in.
Hi.
So good to have you. Christina, you've shared so much with our listeners over the past, do you realize it's been 11 weeks? We are now in our 12th week working with you on our show.
Wow.
Right?
I didn't realize that.
And you've been advocating that people get the mental health care that they need. You know, it's something that oftentimes some of us can tend to ignore as part of our battery of health care, but it is so many times one of the most, if not the most important ways that we can take care of ourselves and our families. But you've said that sometimes talk therapy doesn't work for everyone, right? You mentioned that as an expert in EMDR therapy, sometimes we need something more, something different than just talking through our issues and dealing and working with our symptoms. So can we take a look at that this week? Can you tell us, Christina, because every time you bring it up, I kind of wonder and want to go a little bit deeper. Can you tell us what EMDR therapy is?
Absolutely. So EMDR therapy is a type of therapy, and it's not just one thing, it's an overall approach. Okay. So sometimes when people, if you have a little bit of knowledge of EMDR, sometimes what people will think is, it's eye movement. Well, that is one of the pieces of EMDR therapy, but that's not the only piece of it. So it is a type of therapy that was developed 30 years ago by a woman named Francine Shapiro. And she recognized that, when she was processing information, that her eyes would go left and right, just as most people, and that's how we process information. And she realized that this is effective and developed a therapy from that called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So it's theorized that it works. It's a similar process as to what happens during REM sleep. So every 90 minutes when we sleep, we engage in REM sleep. And that's the rapid eye movement. And this is our way to process information. So we've talked about how we have that information processing system in our minds. Like basically we have an information freeway going on in ourselves, that when the world is giving us information, it's coming in, going in on that freeway and getting stored and processed where it needs to go so that we can access it later. So the governing theory behind EMDR therapy is that memory is the core of health and pathology. So when we experience traumatic memories, they don't get processed correctly, and that's what causes the symptoms of trauma. So EMDR therapy works to take those memories that we don't know what to do with, organize them, and process them so that we can consolidate our memory and access it more as a matter of fact, as opposed to having distress when we access it.
Wow, that's incredible. So to me, it just, I don't know, maybe that's where my head goes. It seems to me like defragmenting my hard drive so that my computer can operate more effectively. So do you mean to say that EMDR can actually help a patient resolve their issue rather than just treat the symptom?
Yes, absolutely. Wow. So, and it's an 8-phase approach, and that's definitely something that we can talk about more this week, go into the 8 phases and understand what each of the phases does.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to go a little bit deeper this week, and we'll talk about EMDR, the 8 phases, and what it looks like, how we can actually start working on solving our issues rather than just masking them, medicating them, and moving forward that way. If you're struggling, I want to make sure that you reach out to your healthcare provider. Remember, it is such an important part of putting your mask on so that you can better take care of others. So if you're neglecting your mental health care, look at it this way. You're doing it so that you can better care for those around you. Okay? So contact your healthcare provider, or you can contact Christina directly at 661-513-4857. Again, 661-513-4857. Christina is actually going to give you a free 15-minute phone consultation and get you started on the path that you need to taking care of yourself, whether that's with her or referring you to someone else or getting you moving forward in the way that you need. Christina, thanks so much for your help. We look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. It's time for us to check local and national news stories with the latest updates right now, but we will be back. On the other side, we will be talking to Reynard Thomas. He's the director of the Veterans Resource Center at COC. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
I'm Matt Denny, CPA, with Denny & Company, LLP, your hometown CPAs. Here are some tips to help you with anxiety you may have about your income tax returns for 2019. The deadlines for filing both state and federal returns have been extended to July 15. Both the state and the feds are also extending the time for making 2019 tax payments otherwise due, without interest or penalty, to July 15. These details keep changing, so contact us at 661-286-8860 or see our website at dennyllp.com.
Yes, Dunkin' is open. The continued stay-at-home orders have been rough on all of us, but Dunkin' is trying to make things just a little bit better. There are many ways to get your Dunkin' fix. You can carry out at both locations, or you can drive through at Canyon Country, or get curbside service at the Bouquet Canyon Dunkin'. Both offer Grubhub and Postmates delivery and are open till 6 p.m. Don't forget, use your Dunkin' app for on the go to order, pay, and accumulate points. Dunkin' cares about the SCV. The coronavirus has put us in a position of creating a new normal. Family Law at Home understands their goal is to meet you in the safest place possible, and these days that might be in your own home in a virtual meeting. Family Law at Home will provide you with immediate advice on your family law matters, such as divorce cases, child custody disputes, and domestic violence. It's as easy as going to FamilyLawAtHome.com. You'll choose your own consultation date and be in immediate contact with one of their esteemed attorneys. Family Law at Home handles the legal aspect while you and your family navigate the new chapter in your lives. Go to FamilyLawAtHome.com.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Will protests lead to sweeping reforms? I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. House Democrats unveiling the Justice in Policing Act.
This moment of national anguish is being transformed into a movement of national action.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi calling for structural change, aiming to overhaul police procedures and oversight. The proposals include banning chokeholds, limiting legal protections for police, and creating a national database of excessive force incidents. Before the unveiling, House and Senate Democrats kneeling for 8 minutes, 46 seconds. The amount of time an officer's knee was on George Floyd's neck. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
It felt so painful to get even an inkling of how this man and so many other Black Americans have suffered for so long.
Floyd's funeral is today in Texas, where he grew up, while the officer, Derek Chauvin, appears in court by video. President Trump is holding a roundtable event with law enforcement and tweeting that he wants law and order, blaming what he calls the radical left for proposals to defund police. Joe Biden's campaign says he supports the urgent need for reform, but does not believe police should be defunded. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio now talking about shifting funds.
The mayor says the details haven't been worked out just yet, but the plan to cut up and divert NYPD funding, well, that should be hammered out in the next couple of weeks, at least before the July budget deadline. The mayor also took the time this morning to squash rumors that were swirling last night of a shakeup at NYPD, the possible resignation of Police Commissioner Dermot Shea and the Chief of Department Terrence Monahan. De Blasio saying that he has complete faith in their leadership, but calls for the mayor to step down. They are not letting up since he was booed at a George Floyd memorial in Brooklyn last week.
Fox's Aisha Hasni, New York's governor, unveiling a police reform agenda, urging state lawmakers to act. America is listening to Fox News.
I hate Tom's Tulip Shop. It just smells so flowery. Like we get it, you're a flower shop. You don't need to remind us.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
I needed a fake plant. They don't sell fake plants. Thanks for nothing, Tom.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Then he says, have a great day. I'll decide what kind of day to have.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
With uncertainty in these times, here's something that is certain. Now save money on your wireless bill with great customer service when you switch to Pure Talk USA. Now plans start at $20 a month depending on how much data you need. All plans have unlimited talk and text. And Pure Talk covers 99% of Americans. They're confident that you're going to love their service. They have a 1-month risk-free guarantee, 50% off your first month. Just dial pound 250 on your cell. Say the keyword save now. Pound 250, keyword save now.
The president also tweeting about the economy and stocks, writing that smart money in the world know we're heading in the right direction. Trade advisor Peter Navarro tells Fox News the U.S. is in a much better position if a second wave of coronavirus happens.
We've sprung up factories all over the place. The Puritan plant, Honeywell's got 2 N95 factories going in Rhode Island, in Arizona. President Trump has become the export ventilator king because of efforts of GM and Ford.
Democrats argue the president didn't act soon enough to minimize the economic and human toll of the virus. The Dow's been up over 200 points, extending Friday's rally over a better-than-expected jobs report for May. Meantime, the World Health Organization says no country should take its foot off the pedal, warning that globally, yesterday marked a new single-day record in new cases of COVID-19. An active duty Air Force sergeant in custody accused of ambushing police officers in Santa Cruz, California.
It was a vicious attack that could be connected to another fatal shooting in Oakland, a case that is being called domestic terrorism. A white van was seen at both crime scenes, and now the FBI is investigating to determine if there is a link. Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Deputy Damon Gutzwaller and another officer were following up on a tip about a suspicious van filled with guns and explosives. They found the van and followed it to a home. That's where Gutzwiller was killed in a hail of gunfire and explosives. The suspect tried to escape but was caught after an attempted carjacking and a second shootout with officers.
Fox's Claudia Cowan. The fallen officer was a 14-year veteran of the force who leaves behind a 2-year-old son and pregnant wife. A state work crew in Virginia trying to figure out exactly how to remove the huge statue of Robert E. Lee from Richmond's Monument Avenue. Meantime, city leaders have committed to taking down another 4 Confederate memorials in the wake of mass protests. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260 CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, SCV.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
At iLEAD Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLEAD Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLEADAguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLEAD Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Save water and save money. SCVi Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host. You are listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. And in the meantime, we are monitoring the equestrian fire in Castaic. I understand it is burned about 75 acres right now and is at approximately 30% containment. KHTS has reporter Michael Brown on the scene, and he's monitoring that for us. We will have the latest when it breaks. He will be coming back in soon with another update. We will let you know. Shane, have you got one?
Yeah, I was desperately scrambling to my phone to refresh the feed as fast as I could. Took me a second there, but an update just at 9:55, so just over 10 minutes ago. The fire has grown to 86 acres now, but the firefighters have doubled their containment at 60%. So although the fire is slightly larger, double containment, always good news.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our firefighters just never cease to amaze me. The stuff that they do is just absolutely incredible. I remember a couple years back when we had some of the fires actually up in the very same area. I remember our school, SCVi, was actually the first one to be evacuated out to COC, and a couple days after the fire, watching the burn path, it was amazing to see how firefighters had guided this wildfire that they had, at the time, 0% containment on, but they had actually guided it kind of between buildings and properties and sent it around Magic Mountain and up over the hill. It's just amazing what they can do.
It really is. It's incredible. The fact that they can take it wherever they need to. That's why you'll hear about wind being such a factor. If the wind is too strong, then they can't do what they're able to do, which is like what you said, direct it so easily and keep the fire away from people that could be in harm's way.
You know, Shane, my father was he wasn't a firefighter, he was a police officer for 30 years, and during the wildfires in Yosemite in the early 1980s, I believe it was, where they just got completely out of control. They called in police officers to help firefighters fight, and when he came back from that, he said to me, "You know what? I'll kick in the door of a crack house. I will take down a kidnapper. I will do a high-speed chase, but never fight fires again. That scares me." So that really impressed me.
That is very impressive, definitely.
So make sure that you thank a firefighter when you see them. They do such incredible work, and it's so dangerous. My next guest, speaking of heroes, is Renard Thomas. He is the director of the COC Veteran Resource Center. He's been with College of the Canyons since 1998. The COC Veteran Resource Center currently serves more veterans in our community college region and geographic area than any other school. Renard is co-chair of the Veteran Service Advisory Committee for Region 6 with Gina Bogna. We met Gina last week. She is the Dean of Career Services and Special Programs and Interim Dean of the School of Personal Professional Learning that she talked about last week that's doing such great things. Renard served our country in Operation Iraqi Freedom for a tour of 18 months. He retired from the National Guard in December of 2013 after serving 22 years of combined services in the active duty Army, Army Reserve, and Army National Guard. Over his military career, Renard received numerous military awards, including, check this out, the Bronze Star, 3 Army Commendation Medals, and 6 Army Achievement Medals, among many others. Renard attends Real Life Church in Valencia. He and his wife have 3 children, the oldest of whom is currently serving in the United States Air Force. Their middle child works locally, and the youngest is still at home and attends West Ranch High School. Renard, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for your service. We appreciate your service as well as that of your oldest child in the Air Force.
Yes, it's truly an honor and a privilege to serve.
Well, and we are honored and privileged to have you and those like you out in front of us. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about the College of the Canyons Veterans Resource Center?
Absolutely. The College of the Canyons Veterans Resource Center is a department within Student Services Division at the college, created to help veterans and veteran dependents with applying to College of the Canyons, enrolling in classes, and requesting VA educational vocational benefits. By nature of it being a veteran organization, it can be a little bit confusing because of so many veteran organizations with similar names.
Okay.
There are many veteran organizations and services which can make it, like I said, really confusing. And if you don't contact the right organization, there's a good chance you will not be able to accomplish your objective. We often help veterans or their dependents figure out who they need to contact for the services of interest. The College of the Canyons has become a community resource.
Okay. So, Renard, tell me, I know we speak with one of your colleagues every Monday, and I know you guys provide a tremendous amount of resources and support to all of your students. What kind of support are you seeing that veterans need that's different than your typical student? What kind of support are you guys providing to veterans that maybe other students don't necessarily need?
Well, I think one of the real big challenges that veterans face is that gap in education.
Oh, yeah.
Continuing from high school, they'll go off and serve. And that picture can look different depending on that service commitment, obligation, and that experience. You know, the first half of my career, I spent training. The second half of my career, I spent deployed on either a federal or a state mission. And so those were two dramatically different experiences. And so I think one of the big things that veterans need is they need good information. You know, and so when it comes to school, it's understanding this system, to apply for this system, how to enroll in school, how to figure out what the next step is for you. Is that preparing for a career? Maybe you're preparing to own your own business, you know, and so we help figure that out.
Okay, that sounds extremely valuable, and I'm sure that especially with your incredible service record, you're able to relate with some of the experiences that these veterans are having as they're transitioning back into school after that gap, like you mentioned. Now, how many veterans does the Veteran Resource Center serve at COC?
Our program served over 600 veterans last year. 547 veterans used education or vocational benefits.
Okay.
Veterans using the VA educational vocational benefit can receive up to $2,916 if enrolled in approved courses. The college does a great job of providing an excellent academic experience and the support veterans need to be successful. This year, and this is one of my favorite statistics, this year we graduated 77 veterans and 10 veteran dependents. Many graduated with a GPA of 3.0 or higher.
Wow, that is fantastic. 77 veterans and 10 veteran dependents. That's amazing to see these people that have served us in the military and then come back and are now getting their education and moving on to different things and moving their service in a different direction. That's absolutely beautiful. That can be a special time. So, if I'm a veteran and interested in going back and jump-starting my education, how can I start the process of applying for college using the benefits that you talked about?
Well, that can be a challenging experience as there are specific actions and standards for veterans to complete to become a college student, enroll in classes, and receive benefits. We're available to help you through that process. Our team is highly trained and experienced. We have all been students at some point. We have veterans on staff, and we have team members that have worked in the financial aid office, in the admissions and records office, the counseling department. Some team members are still on the path to pursue their education at all levels of education, and all are available to help you. So we do what we call advisement and orientation, so that we can provide you with all the information you need up front so that you can understand and make choices, informed choices about your next step. In order to find out more information about that, you can email us at veterans@canyons.edu, and I'll spell it out, VETERANS@CANYONS.edu to schedule an appointment or to talk to someone.
Fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and post that on our Facebook Live feed. I know that's a valuable resource that our listeners may want to access. So, again, in just a second, I'm going to post that email address on our Facebook Live feed. Now, what if, again, I'm playing that role of a veteran coming into COC. I don't know necessarily what I want to study. I know that my military career, I'm moving on from that military career, but I don't know what major I want. How will I know what classes I need to take in order to meet the requirements for my major and receive those GI benefits that you talked about? If the college is close, if the college is closed, how can I meet with an academic counselor and get that orientation that I need so that I'm not wasting my benefits?
Great question. When you're in the military, it's sometimes difficult to understand what some of your options are, especially when it comes to academic programs. So if you have not selected a major, there are academic counselors available to assist you in the career development process. For those that have a career goal in mind, once you have submitted all of your transcripts, the counselors will help you complete a student education plan that identifies the classes required to complete your program, as well as meeting the requirements for VA education benefits. Our counselors are committed to your success and are available through Zoom to meet with you. Students can schedule an appointment online by going to our website, or they can contact us through our email address, which you are going to post up.
Okay, yeah, so we've got that email address posted already. So I know you guys have, I know that the military has veteran service officers that support veterans. Are they available in the Santa Clarita Valley?
Yes, they are. They have not always been available in the Santa Clarita Valley. Most people don't realize, but the Santa Clarita Valley has more than 8,000 veterans. That's a lot.
Yeah.
There are definitely limited resources up here. We actually have 2 veteran service officers that support our area. One, when we were open to the public on campus, his name is Hector Castillo, and he would come on campus once a week to provide services to student veterans so that they wouldn't have to disrupt their scheduling for school. And right now, Hector can be reached by his email, and I'll spell that out for you. That's HCASTILLO@mva.lacounty.gov. And if you just wanted to talk to someone, I can give you a phone number, which is 877-452-8387. I'll tell you a little bit about the veteran service officers, because like I said in the beginning, it can be confusing. To provide a holistic approach to services for veterans, there are different groups that do different things. Veteran service officers can help you with a disability claim. They can help you with getting the veteran identifier on your California driver's license. They can help a veteran dependent apply for the fee waiver so that they can attend college tuition free. And they're a wealth of knowledge. And so it's wonderful that we actually have some services up here. The Los Angeles County also has an office up here that veterans are able to go through to when we are not operating remotely. But here's another email for Loida, and she is also a veteran service officer. Her email is lmaculan@mva.lacounty.gov.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and post that contact information for Loida as well. So we'll get that out. It sounds like you guys are providing full wraparound services for veterans here in the Valley, which is just so important. Are there also health and well-being services available for veterans in our area?
Yes. As you can imagine, there can be a lot of adjustment after you come back from military service. Not only do you acclimate to military culture, which is dramatically different from civilian culture, so when you transition from the military, you have to adjust to civilian culture and learn how to be highly functional in that environment, which is a little bit different for us.
Sure.
And you have to learn how to be a student too. So these health and well-being services are a very strong benefit to veterans. All of the vet centers are currently open and operational, and they're providing face-to-face and virtual counseling and outreach. Those looking to seek the vet center services may call their nearest vet center or the vet center call centers. That number is 877-927-8387. Unfortunately, we don't have a vet center in the Santa Clarita Valley, so the closest vet center to us is in Chatsworth, And I can give you the direct phone number for the Chatsworth Vet Center as well.
Sure.
818-892-9227. Another benefit of being a College of the Canyon student is that you have services through the Student Health and Wellness Center. And they're available to schedule an appointment by email, and I can provide that email address as well.
Okay.
It's the Student Health Center at canyons.edu, and they'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. So it gives the veteran some choices.
Yeah, definitely. Again, getting all this stuff posted on the Facebook live feed. If you're listening on the radio or on the app, just head on over to Facebook, KHTS Radio, and we're posting all these different contact emails and phone numbers for you. Reynard, we're speaking with Reynard Thomas this morning. He's the director of the COC Veterans Resource Center, and providing so many valuable resources. You know, those of us that haven't served forget sometimes how difficult of a transition it can be out of military life and back into civilian life, and so we appreciate all these services. Reynard, do you mind if I ask a little bit about your personal experience coming out of the military and transitioning back into school and career?
No, not at all.
So were there things that you struggled with? As I mentioned, I think you had was it a 22-year career in military? Was it difficult to move back into college and career for you?
Absolutely.
So what kind of things did you struggle with? What did you find hard? And then how are you working with the veterans that you're currently serving to mitigate those difficulties?
Well, it's probably because of the challenges that I had through transition that I do the work that I do today. And so I thought, man, if I can figure this out, and maybe I can share what I've learned with other veterans so that it doesn't have to be as difficult for them. When I first got out of the military and I went to school, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. The benefit structure was a lot different. You remember a few moments ago I told you that our students can receive in excess of $2,900 a month. I think at the time I was receiving maybe $300 to $400 a month for the GI Bill. And so I had to learn a lot, and there were people along that journey that took the time to help me and to provide information that I needed to make better choices about my education. And the funny piece about education is that you don't know while you're going through that process how it might benefit you in the future. A quick story is, and this sort of leads into how I ended up where I'm at now.
Okay.
When I returned to California after finishing a period of military service, my mom was living in Valencia, so of course I came here, and then because I was living in this community, I came to the College of the Canyons. I didn't know the College of the Canyons from any other college.
Okay.
Little did I know that it would change my life. And so it took me a couple of years to get my first degree. During that period, I also had my first child. And a year after having my first child, I completed my associate's degree. And that same year, I applied for my first permanent position here at the college. And that position had a minimum education requirement of an associate degree. So basically, if I had not secured my associate degree at that time, I would not have been able to apply for that position, and we would not be having this phone call today.
Well, Reynard, we need to take a quick commercial break, but would you stick around with us? I've got a couple of other questions that I wanted to ask about the services you provide and how to get our recent high school graduates directed towards some of the decisions they may be contemplating in life. Can you stick around with us for a little bit longer?
Absolutely, Matt.
Terrific. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be back with Renard Thomas, the director of the COC Veteran Resource Center. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools, Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
Santa Clarita Lanes is more than just a bowling center. It's fun, food, and parties for the entire family. In addition to their popular leagues that run every day of the week, Santa Clarita Lanes offers rooms for kids' birthday parties and game rooms. And if you love the NFL, Vincenzo's Pizza is the place to be on Sundays with the complete NFL football package, showing every game on its 10 televisions and widescreens. Whether it's bowling, birthdays, or the NFL, Santa Clarita Lanes offers the best in family entertainment.
When your child learns who they are, they can take on anything that life throws their way. That's the focus of iLEAD Agua Dulce, a tuition-free charter school just off the 14 freeway in the East Santa Clarita Valley. We believe in learning through cooperation, creativity, and emotional growth. Our rapidly expanding TK through 8 campus places self-discovery at the core of every experience, from an outdoor science lab to our greenhouse and technology-rich exploratorium. For enrollment information, including grade 7 enrollment starting this fall and homeschool options, visit iLEADAguadulce.org.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. For those of you watching the equestrian fire out in Castaic, we've got our eyes on it. We just had an update from Michael Brown last break that while it has grown to, 85 acres now, Shane, we're at about 60% containment.
Exactly that, 85 acres, 60% containment, and that update came at 9:55 a.m., so very recent.
And Michael's been up early and has been out there all day long, so we appreciate your work for us, Michael, and keep it up. Hopefully the firefighters will get that wrapped up soon so you can go home and take a nap.
Leave him a nice comment on Facebook. He'll love it. It's the little things.
Absolutely. Definitely. We're joined this morning by Renard Thomas. He's the director of the Veteran Resource Center at College of the Canyons. Renard, we were talking before the break, and you said something that I think I might have heard incorrectly. You spoke about the veterans benefits that that veterans who have served our country receive as they go back into college. You mentioned that they receive $2,900, but I thought you said $2,900 per month. Are these men and women that served our country, they're actually receiving almost $3,000 per month to go back to college?
I know it sounds incredible, but you're absolutely right. Through the post 9/11 GI Bill, veterans in our area can receive up to $2,900 a month for going to school full time.
Well, they certainly deserve it, and that is fantastic that they're getting that kind of support from our government and from our military. You know, they put everything out on the line for us, so that's the least we could do. That is amazing, though. So I'm glad to hear that they're receiving that. I know with $2,900 a month, that's going to go a long way out at COC. You guys run an incredibly economical program. Now, I spoke at the beginning of our show about our students that are actually, we've got some that are currently graduating right now out at Central Park. And again, congratulations, graduates. Renard, as kids are graduating high school and they're contemplating their future, it's oftentimes a struggle to figure out what we want to do after high school, looking at junior college like COC, looking at a 4-year college, or possibly a career in the military. Would you recommend a career in the military for a recent high school graduate?
Although I recognize that the military may not be for everyone.
Sure.
But the military presents an incredible opportunity for those that are willing to make the commitment and sacrifice that comes with serving. I think the rewards for those that are willing to do that far outweigh some of the challenges that you might experience. And it also allows you to develop a way to give back and to contribute to our nation and to those things that we value and believe in. And then, the other thing to consider, I think young people coming out of high school today have a lot of choices, and I think that they should explore all those choices and do their best to make an informed decision as to what they think might be best or suitable for them. We talked a little bit earlier, and you shared a little bit about me, and I have 3 children, and my 3 children have taken different approaches. You mentioned that my eldest, my daughter, she's in the Air Force.
Yes.
And she's having an incredible experience. Interesting fact about the Air Force, it's the only one of the 5 branches that have an accredited community college within their system.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
It's pretty incredible. So what that means is that while you're serving in the military, you're accumulating college credit.
Wow.
And then the other thing that's really cool about being in the military right now, in the military, the mission's first, as you would think that it would be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of those activities that are focused on supporting that mission, you get free time. And you have the ability to choose how you use that free time. And almost most military installations have an education center.
Uh-huh.
And it's through that education center that you can continue your education while you're serving in the military. And get how cool this is. They have tuition assistance where there's no charge for you to do that in many cases. So you can take a class or two, outside of your military obligation and continue that. And then when you complete your period of service, you can either continue in the military or you can get out and use your GI Bill. And
wow.
The post 9/11 GI Bill is by far the best version of the GI Bill that we've seen to date. We talked a little bit about the housing allowance, which was the $2,900 a month for a student attending school in our area.
Mm-hmm.
But they also pay 100% of your tuition and fees. In addition to that, they give you a $1,000 book allowance for an academic year. So I personally would recommend looking at the military, and if you're going to do that, look at the different branches of service and see which one best fits you.
Yeah, definitely. Gosh, there's a tremendous amount of options, really, depending on the individual's path of choice. They can go into the military first and then use that GI Bill toward college, or actually do the two, as you mentioned, concurrently. What about the idea of going to college first and then into the military? Is that something that that some folks might want to do, get their degree and then move into a career in the military?
Yeah, especially for those people that think that they would like to be an officer in the military. It requires an education.
Okay.
One of I think the big differences between the two approaches is how are you going to fund that approach? You know, if you can help it, I would strongly discourage people from going into debt for education. You know, there are a lot of other ways to fund your education.
Sure.
But going to college first creates a challenge of how are you going to pay for college if you go to it first. And there are solutions out there, but it just might be a more challenging path. But there are some really good ROTC programs in our area that students that were interested in going that route could go about. They had a strong interest in the military, and so they could join ROTC. One of the military academies, you know, they could look into that. Or they can just be a regular student, and then when they finish, you know, their education, they can go ahead and look at what are the options for them. The military always has a strong need for professionals, both in medical, legal, and a few other areas.
Right now, we're getting a great response from our listeners, and some of them are actually texting me with some questions, and they wanted to know, you personally, what did you find was the best part about serving in the military? And then on the other side, what was the most challenging part of your service?
Wow, that's a really good question. For me personally, my time in Iraq was both the best and worst of my experiences.
Wow.
It was the best because I felt like I was making such a big difference in reference to being able to contribute to the effort there and representing our country. But it was a very difficult experience. There was a lot of hardship. You know, it was a lot of time that I was separated from my family. So although I felt most fulfilled because I was serving, it was the most difficult time because I had to be away from my family for such a long time.
That's interesting that it's the same answer for both questions. Now, Reynard, you and I are both, and I love saying this, you and I are both much too young to remember it, but we've studied and heard a lot about the treatment of our soldiers coming home from Vietnam, and well, to say the least, many of them received a very underwhelming reception when they got back. As a matter of fact, my stepfather served in Vietnam, and it was only about 4 or 5 years ago that he was attending a Veterans Day parade that he was actually thanked for his service for the first time. You know, some 35 years later was the first time he ever received that thank you. Now, you served in Iraq. Do you feel that that society's doing a better job welcoming vets back to civilian life, and what else needs to be done? What else can we do to welcome these fighting men and women back?
That's a really great observation that you made, and you know those men and women that served in Vietnam. My father-in-law is one of them, and man, not only did they have a really tough tour. Vietnam was a really difficult period in so many ways. But then to come home and to be spit upon and disrespected after all that personal sacrifice would be probably one of the most difficult things that a person would have to endure and go through. My personal experience was much different. When we flew in from Iraq and we landed, I think we were in El Paso, Texas, the fire department came out and gave us the fireman salute where they shot water over our aircraft as we flew through.
That's cool.
Oh, it was very cool. After being away for such a long time to be received that way. And then when the plane stopped and we were offloading the plane, there are people all over the place lined up to shake our hands and to say thank you. Well, I remember one of the things that impacted me the most when I got off the plane, and this is going to sound weird to you, but I smelled cookies. Someone was cooking cookies. And I can't tell you how good that felt to have been away. It really felt like I was home, and people were thanking us for our service. And so that experience was much different than an experience at, the Vietnam service members. So, the utmost respect for those men and women that endured those difficult times. And I thank God for them, for their service, and for their commitment. And, especially in our community, it is so supportive towards veterans. We don't have a lot of veteran service organizations up here, but we have a lot of people that are committed to supporting veterans and to supporting veterans. It's empowered the college to do things that I would have never thought was possible. The college offers anywhere from 5 to 7 scholarships every year in direct support of veterans and military service. And that's because the donors in our community thought that it was important to do what they could to assist a veteran or a service member with moving forward. And so I think just having that attitude of thankfulness for them willing to make that commitment to serve and to make that level of sacrifice, I think is enough. I think most servicemen and women, they did it because, they believed it was the right thing to do. I know for me personally, I don't expect anything, but it's always nice to get a thank you, even though, I didn't ask for it.
Well, I think it's certainly the least we can do, and that's one of the things that I've always appreciated about living in this community is the tremendous level of respect and gratitude toward our first responders, including our veterans. And Renard, thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for what you've done for our country. Thank you for what you continue to do in our community, serving other veterans as they transition back into an academic career. Renard Thomas, Director of the COC Veterans Resource Center. We're, again, so grateful for your service in the military and in our community. We do need to take one last commercial break, but we will be right back. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools, Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Eric.
It's Mother. Can you come over right away? It's urgent.
I'll be right there, Mom. Okay, I'm here. What's wrong?
It's been weeks since you had a haircut, so I want to give you a nice trim. Sit down.
Ooh, ow.
Gee, I can see myself in the back of your head, son.
Mom.
Oops.
What happened?
Never mind. It'll grow back. So, what's new at Dutton Plumbing, son?
Well, with so many people stuck at home, there's a lot of stuff getting stuck in their pipes. So, our $73 drain clearing is really keeping us busy.
Wait a minute. I bet the plumber's hair is getting shaggy, too. You tell them that Mom will cut their hair for just $73.
Isn't that a little high for a haircut, Mom?
Well, I'll toss in the manscaping for free.
Mom! DuttonPlumbing.com.
Mom's $73 drain clearing at DuttonPlumbing.com. Manscaping not included.
Owning Corporation, Equal Housing Lender, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lender Act, NMLS 1797976, California DRE license 02063270. Call 833-852-6464 for terms and conditions.
Crazy things are going on in the world right now, like owning funding 15-year fixed refis at 2.5 rate and APR. Yes, you heard correctly, 2.5 rate and APR with no fees of any kind. Needless to say, people are going to owning.com for this free closer rate and APR like mad. In fact, if you have both a real estate and mortgage license, we may want to hire you. Look, money is so dirt cheap, most folks are taking cash out of their equity to do just about anything, including sticking it into their bank accounts, just to have it there. Wouldn't you be crazy not to go to owning.com and grab 2.5 APR? No closing costs, no nonsense money while it's out there? Call 855-5-OWNING or go to owning.com to not miss these monthly savings. 855-5-OWNING.
And now a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Everyone loves chicken. It's easy to cook in a variety of ways, especially on the barbecue.
Marinate it overnight in your favorite marinade, brown it up nice on the barbecue, and then put it on the other side, indirect heat, close your lid, take another 25-30 minutes, and they're good.
Chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkeys, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest chicken in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
I'm Matt Denny, CPA, with Denny & Company, LLP, your hometown CPAs. Here are some tips to help you with anxiety you may have about your income tax returns for 2019. The deadlines for filing both state and federal returns have been extended to July 15th. Both the state and the feds are also extending the time for making 2019 tax payments otherwise due, without interest or penalty, to July 15th. These details keep changing, so contact us at 661-286-8860 or see our website at dennyllp.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson. You are listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. We've had a really good show today, and I really appreciate all of our guests coming in. We spoke the first hour with Cheryl Sena, who really knocked it out of the park again with SCVi's high school graduation. You know, this year it's difficult. In fact, we were all super excited when the county, I guess it was the county, finally allowed us to do drive-thru graduations. But again, Cheryl and her team out there at SCVi said, yeah, we're gonna do the drive-thru diploma pickup, but don't think that we're gonna graduate a class of seniors at SCVi without the incredibly touching and memorable ceremony that we're known for. So we're having, producer Sarah was having a little trouble posting the link to that on the Facebook Live feed. So here's what I want you to do, okay? Actually, let me give a quick shout out to producer Sarah. Maybe you can go back into the archives and find some of the old graduations. I know on YouTube we have the graduation from 2016, 2017, 2018. Maybe you can post one of those, producer Sarah. I want to encourage our listeners, head on over to YouTube, and in the YouTube search bar, just search SCVi graduation, and you're going to find some of the graduations in there. Yeah, they are about an hour and a half. One of them's up to 2 hours long, but I think you'll find that you're not fast-forwarding through them. There are some touching moments, some incredibly funny moments. The thing that SCVi is known most for in their graduations is how personalized they are. You know, when you graduate 40 to 60 learners in a graduating class rather than 400 to 600, you can make them extremely personalized. You know, I was talking with a friend over the weekend who said, you know, I don't know as many of the graduates this year, but just like every year, by the time graduation was over, I knew all of them. You do get to know all of our learners. And so if you're looking for this year specifically and you're saying, all right, Watson, so what were you guys able to do in a socially distant fashion? Go to Facebook, go to SCVi Charter Schools page and scroll down to Friday. You're going to find the invitation there. And you're going to have to click through a couple of times, and I think maybe that's why Facebook keeps bouncing our link. But find the invitation on SCVi Charter Schools Facebook page and go through and watch the video replay. We're going to have to find a way to post it a little bit more conveniently for you, but I think you're going to enjoy it. This year's graduation ceremony, because it didn't include the procession that they did to pick up diplomas earlier in the afternoon, it's only about an hour long, extremely touching, and all of the kids, every single one of them, was able to participate in their graduation, not just view it. And it was really neat to see the personalized touch and the kids able to interact. And it's funny, because it was online, each of the kids was actually able to participate more than they normally do, as they were able to respond to questions and shout and cheer for each other like they normally do. It was a really cool thing, so you might want to check that out. We also spoke today with Christina DeBray, and she's got me really interested in this idea of EMDR therapy. She's talked in the past about how talk therapy doesn't work for everyone, and that's oftentimes what folks criticize therapy for is, I know what my problems are, why do I have to sit down and talk to you about them? Well, EMDR therapy, it sounds like Christina's able to actually help us work through our problems and resolve them rather than just figure out how to deal with them. Yeah.
Do you ever talk to the dog and wish sometimes it would talk back to you and tell you exactly what was wrong? Well,
Yeah.
Instead of doing that in your kitchen, you could just call Christina. She'll actually talk back to you.
Yeah, definitely. And then we just wrapped up with, an amazingly inspirational gentleman, Renard Thomas, the director of the COC Veteran Resource Center. He's doing amazing things to help our veterans get connected and transitioning back into an academic life. We forget sometimes that when you go through the military, you train your brain and your automatic response system how to deal with things in a different paradigm. And then when you come back into a system where you're dealing with college professors rather than drill instructors, it can be a little bit different, and they need some support. Beautiful how Renard himself is able to transition to serving our country and then into serving veterans in our community. It was beautiful. I want to thank everyone for their support today. Shane, thank you so much for helping provide updates on the fire there in Castaic, the equestrian fire.
Always, absolutely. And then before we get out, one last update on that fire.
Please.
Again, 60% containment, 85 acres coming straight from the fire department themselves. Last update was at 9:55, and we're keeping up to date on that. KHTS reporter Michael Brown is on the scene. So KHTS Radio on Facebook, hometownstation.com. Right here, 98.1 FM, AM 1220. We'll keep you updated.
Absolutely. And again, Michael Brown, thank you so much. Thank you, producer Sarah, and show contributor. In a shockingly silent performance, Big T came through big time today. So we appreciate your help, Big T. We want to thank the rest of our guests again, Cheryl Sena, Christina DeBray, and Renard Thomas for coming in. Thank you. Thank you for joining us like you do every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And we will have another session of SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers tomorrow. And I want to remind you, again, hometownstation.com for all of your COVID-19 updates as well as updates on the protests and all the news happening in and around your valley. This is your hometown station, KHTS.